Okay, this is putting solving equations and fractions together. So for letter A, if we want to get y by itself, we need to subtract 8/9. So I'm going to subtract 8/9 from the left side and the right side. So now I have to calculate 5/9 minus 8/9. So 5/9 minus 8/9 is, they have the same denominator. So we don't have to get a common denominator because we already have one. Now we're just going to do the numerator. 5 minus 8. 5 minus 8 is negative 3/9. So now I have to reduce this to negative 1/3. Okay, letter B. I want to get u by itself, so I subtract 3/5 from each side. So now I have to simplify or calculate 2/3 minus 3/5. So because I'm adding and subtracting again, I have to get a common denominator. So the least common multiple of 3 and 5 is 15. So to change from a 5 to a 15, I multiply by 3. So I have to multiply this one by 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. To change from a 3 to a 15, I have to multiply by a 5. So I have to multiply the numerator by a 5. That's going to be 10/15. So I'm going to subtract 10/15 minus 9/15 is 1/15, and it doesn't reduce. Letter C, I need to subtract 2/3 from each side. So x equals 1/9 minus 2/3. So I'm going to write that over here, 1/9 minus 2/3. Again, I have to get a common denominator. So the least common multiple, the LCM of 9 and 3 is 9. So I'm going to change this one to 9. So in order to go from 3 to 9, I multiply by 3. So I have to multiply the numerator by 3, which is going to give me a 6. So 1/9 minus 6/9 is negative 5/9, which does not reduce. Letter D, I'm going to subtract 3/10 from each side. So the least common multiple of 15 and 10 is 30. So I'm going to write both of them with 30s on the bottom. So 15 times 2 is 30, so 11 times 2 is 22. 10 times 3 is 30, so 3 times 3 is 9. So 22/9 minus 22/30 minus 9/30 is 11/30, which does not reduce. And you can even do mixed numbers too. In this case, well, I'll just change this to an improper fraction. I really don't have to for this one, but this is 13/2 equals 13/4. So subtract 13/2 from each side. 13/4 minus 13/2, so I'm going to make this a 4. I'm going to double it, so I have to double the numerator. So it's negative 13/4 as an answer. And then letter F, I'm going to change this one also to an improper fraction. So 18 times 3. 18 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 2 times 3 is 3 plus 2 is 54. So 54/18 equals z plus 4/3. And then I'm going to subtract 4/3 from each side. So my common denominator is going to be 18 because both of them go into 18. So I'm going to change this one to an 18 by multiplying by 6, and this one to it. 4 times 6 is 24. So 54/18, take away 24/18 is 30/18, which reduces to 15/9. That was a lot more work. So if you have a mixed number, change it to an improper fraction. And then these are the same, except for they're just adding to solve. So I add 4/7 to each side. This time I have a nice common denominator. So my denominator is 7, so 1/7 plus 4/7 is 5/7. Add 3/4 to each side. My common denominator is going to be 8, so multiply by 2, multiply by 2. Negative 5/8 plus 6/8 is 1/8. And then letter C, add 3/4 to each side. My common denominator is going to be 20. So 5 times 4 is 20, so I have to multiply 2 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20, so I have to multiply 3 times 5. Add the numerators, keep the denominator the same. And then letter D, I'm going to add 11/16 to each side. So my common denominator is going to be 16, so I have to multiply this one by 2 and this one by 2, so it's negative 14/16 plus 11 is negative 3. Keep the denominator the same, and this one doesn't reduce. And then just like with adding and up there, I want to get my mixed number as an improper fraction. So this is going to be z minus 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2 is 17/5 equals negative 41/10. So I'm going to add 17/5 to each side. This changes to 10. This changes to 34. So negative 41 plus 34 is 7, and I keep the denominator the same. So it's 7/10. And then over here I'm going to add, first I want to write them as mixed or improper fractions. So this is 13/2 equals 8/5. So I add 13/2 to each side. This is a 10, multiply by 5, 13 times 5. 5 times 3 is 15. But the 1 up here, 1 times 5 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Change this to a 10. Multiply by 2 is 16. So 16 plus 65 is 81. So it's 81/10. So these didn't reduce, but make sure at the very end you look to reduce your fractions. Always simplify them.